Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Blue Thunder Pod AEW Edition. I'm your host, Billy Sullivan. With me, as always, my mom's favorite podcast host, and he also doesn't know how to pronounce Pac's name.
Is it Pac? Is it
Is it
Pac?
Pac or Pac?
Pac or Pac? Bang, bang.
Dave
Pac,
Linovich.
Bang, bang, Pac, Pac. Pac, 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 bang, bang, Pac, Pac.
I love that switchblade thing. You're
The
just
whole
being
segment
like
ruled.
a prick. To a wider question, though, Dave, what'd you think of Dynamite this week?
I'm very excited for the pay-per-view. I thought this was a terrific
It's the best go-home show they've ever done, I think.
I think so.
They usually kind of suck at your go-home shows.
Yeah.
We've talked about it. They usually do a really good one, the penultimate, the second to last is usually very good.
Great talking.
And then the last one is like a bunch of house showy bullshit. This was like all advanced, like got me super emotionally invested in everything.
Yeah.
And then they did a bunch of like crazy stunts too, like set-based kind of things that I've never seen them do. Like very forward-thinking or aggressive to do like on your go-home show.
Right.
It's cool.
It's going to be a terrific pay-per-view.
I can't stop thinking about Darby Allin and Energy in the Arena match. Like,
Well, hopefully he brings the toy he brought out at the end.
oh my God. I'm going to get that pink Tyler Durden coat. I have a pink fuzzy robe that's kind of similar, but I need the big pink
Field trip to... Where could we get that? I mean, there's got to be...
Hot Topic.
I was going bigger. One in somewhere in Los Angeles. I don't want to go to Los Angeles.
I got my ass kicked in Los Angeles.
We won't go there then, for sure. Maybe they have him in Bozeman, Montana. Can you imagine being just the flashiest cowboy in Bozeman with your big Tyler Durden, Darby Allin?
They would think I was Brokeback Mountain, boy. I couldn't go there because my wife is not white, and every time we go out of like the major big cities kind of to the north of the country, we get weird looks still, which is you wouldn't think would happen, but boy howdy does it.
Here we are. Here we are.
I think our neighbor doesn't like us because they're super uber conservative Christian, and I think they think interracial marriage is still wrong. It's crazy that there's people out there that still believe those things.
They can make sure that their grass is freshly edged and
Marisol
seeded.
always make sure that I am freshly edged.
Ah, that's a good marriage.
Distance runs too when she's a doctor.
Yeah. All these things keep making it bad.
She got big old boobies too.
Yep. So AEW Dynamite. I'm not talking about that.
No, I'm talking at you about my wife and all her wonderful attributes.
Literally no segue off of that.
Well, we opened with a great, like I was talking about last week, what AEW likes to open with, like a high octane, get the crowd into it, like get the vibes going for the show kind of match.
Match was cool. They opened the show with a high octane intro, which makes me want to go see Furiosa.
Oh yeah, it was like a tie-in. It was way cooler than any bullshit they did for the Apes movies.
Yeah.
This was like, and it made sense too because I'm like, why are they changing it? The Bucks they should still be doing there, but it was like because it was a corporate tie-in.
Yeah.
Of course they would do that.
It does fit characters, yes. Yeah, that was dope. Really liked the intro. I also checked before we, because I'm going to keep looking every week just because the rankings are important.
I agree, yeah.
On the official AEW website rankings, the current TBS champion is Jade Cargill.
I'm telling you, that's not the...
No, it's the direct URL. It's like AEW.com
There is a direct...
Yes. Power rankings.
Yes, and that's not the right place.
Then that is...
it's terrible. It is terrible, but it's not the right place.
But it is the right place because that's the number one result
in
search.
Exactly.
Google.
It's absolutely
so that is the right place.
Inexcusable if they would have that still there.
This is just
they do have more up-to-date rankings.
Yeah. You know what they should do? Get rid of the page I keep finding.
Yeah, probably because it's real easy to do.
And it catalogs every damn list. It hasn't been updated. When did she leave the company? 2022? 2022. It has to be 2022. But
yeah, because 23, she went to the Performance Center to learn nothing.
Yeah. Except how to do awesome chain wrestling with someone who is...
And well, actually, maybe she learned how to bump because she was never asked to. Yeah. I don't know if she knew how to do that back then or not.
Yeah.
But she's awesome at it.
Yeah, she's very good. But, yeah, so this was in Bakersfield, California at the Mechanics Bank Arena. you texted the group and was saying that crowd's a little.
Stuss did.
Was it Stuss?
Yeah.
Okay, stout out.
I thought the crowd was pretty good.
The crowd was okay. Like there were some things I noticed, like when they were doing the pre-tape stuff or the backstage stuff, just the way like it echoed in the house. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, that is an empty building.
It's a 10,000 seater.
It had 2,292
Yeah.
tickets distributed.
You want like a 5,000 seater for something like that?
Yeah. The last thing that was so I'm going to start doing this too, because I get all this little information from WrestleNomics. And I got to pull from somewhere.
No, that's not. WrestleNomics is great. It's a great.
And they catalog like previous events and shows you the percentage change, right? Which I really like.
It's like people bitch about Cage Match, and it's like it's a absolutely wonderful tool.
Yeah.
Like,
if you're not using it to like prick wave,
just don't argue about it.
Yeah.
Use it to like look up wrestling history or whatever. Like
if you're looking up objective things, like how many fucking people.
We'll talk about it on both podcasts, but I went there today to figure out who has more matches between Harley Cameron and Maxine Dupree. Like, and you can find that out because every match that anybody's ever wrestled in front of people, it's on that guy's website.
And if you want that answer, you need to stay tuned for the near end of the episode for AEW. I want you to save it. I want a little cliffhanger.
Oh yeah, I'm not going to talk about it until we get to
we don't talk about it. But 2,292 tickets distributed. The last time anything ran, WWE runs there constantly. So they were just there in March for Road to WrestleMania house show, and they had 5,200. So they had
so it's
about 3,000 more.
But a smaller house for them.
Yes.
So Bakersfield maybe just not a great hotbed for wrestling.
Before that, they had No Mercy, 4,900, and a year before that, in 2022, they had Saturday Night's Main Event. Which
those still exist?
Which was 3,747. But yeah, to your point,
I think it's just not a wrestling place.
Which is surprising,
like Windsor. Windsor,
Greensboro. Oh, we're not in Greensboro.
I thought you said Bakersfield.
I did say Bakersfield. WWE was in Greensboro.
Yeah, WWE was in Jacksonville because I was watching it and thinking, hey, they're in AEW home turf.
Absolutely. But so the crowd makes sense because it was in a very questionable location.
Yeah.
But then, the action did not mimic the enthusiasm of the crowd.
It was Orange Cassidy and the Billy Goat Will Ospreay versus Roderick Strong and Trent. Mm-hmm. One of those like tag matches that you got to do, like get the guys involved. Don't have the guys actually interact that are going to fight on the pay-per-view very much.
Yeah.
But like get some story stuff involved.
Yeah.
I like that Trent and Orange Cassidy just fucking started hockey fighting immediately. Like they were super pissed off.
The bell rang, Orange Cassidy jumps off, runs around the ring, and they just start beating the shit out of each other.
I also think Orange Cassidy was getting a little irritated with some of Will Ospreay's like cheeky antics during this match. He did a few things that Cassidy was like, he did, like when Orange Cassidy was out on the top rope, he was going to do his like that elbow drop thing he does.
Yeah.
But Will Ospreay just like ran over to the corner, ran up on the second rope right in his face, and did the thumbs up, and then did a sky twister press like backwards. And Cassidy was just standing there like, the fuck, man.
Was that when he did his very lazy elbow drop?
Yeah.
It works, man. That's high comedy. That's
it
just
is.
Two different.
Not much
David
wrestling
Spade and Chris
comedy
Farley.
works, and it works there. Like
absolutely.
Like R-Truth's starting to lose me. He needs to evolve a little bit.
No dance partners, man.
He's fucking. It hurts sticking next to the Miz.
Yeah,
all the time.
I can't wait. I do have a lot to say about that. If you have not listened to the WWE version,
we'll drop at the same time.
Drops at the same time.
So check that out.
So this match went 12 minutes 57 seconds.
Again, to your point, they're taking notes. You don't have to put 25-minute bangers on every TV show. Like 12 minutes is a real good time for a televised wrestling show or a wrestling match.
Yeah, they absolutely got plenty in the time allotted as well. Like you mentioned, once the bell rang, right away, hockey fight.
Yeah.
And then Roderick Strong and Will Ospreay are fighting in the ring. The opening sequence of moves, running Hurricane Rana, top rope elbow, tope, phenomenal forearm.
I think it's the best phenomenal forearm in the world, too. I think it's better than AJ's. He gets like way higher.
That's a lot of more height. And he's bigger. Like he's just
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's pretty significantly taller. I think he's a legit 6 feet 6'1".
Yeah.
And AJ's probably like 5'8", 5'9".
Sure.
So like it's easier to get those big hops and stuff and make that stuff look big, but it's still awesome looking. Like
right.
It's incredible.
What does AJ's song start with?
Like
you don't know.
I don't know. I don't know the new one. I just want to say you won't know. You won't.
Yeah,
know.
bring that back.
Yes, it's a great song.
Please. But then something cool here. I don't remember seeing this, and I loved it enough that I'm taking this much time. So Mike Bennett throws his tag title belt in the ring to distract the ref. And then as the ref's getting rid of the belt, Roderick Strong takes advantage of Will Ospreay, gives him a backbreaker. I'm like, that was cool. Genius. Why?
It reminded me of when Roosh just a couple weeks ago had his comeback, his like return from injury, and he brought his opponent outside of the ring, grabbed a chair and just slid it into the ring, so that the ref would go get the chair, and then he just grabbed all the cables from under there and like beat the shit and choked the guy. It was so he just grabbed the chair and just like, hey, go look at that. Dog boy. Well, I choked his dumbass out. I love that when you like misdirection kind of stuff. But I miss MJF too because he was the best at that. Yeah.
Is he coming back? Is he coming back on Sunday? I hope not.
Every Big Four pay-per-view I get.
He came back last.
There's a chance, but I don't see.
Was it 2-1 ago?
The story fitting, and he's like. Very precise about that stuff. He doesn't. Yeah. Unless he's confident in something, he's not gonna.
Well, he's coming back and he's feuding with Adam Cole right away, and he's not even present. His faction's ice cold.
Yeah, Cole's got to wrestle a couple matches too, like
he's
before
reestablish his threat.
Because right now, if he came back, it wouldn't make much sense for him to do anything except go after Swerve, which it doesn't really work right now.
No. Especially since Swerve is like killer Swerve again.
He's fucking awesome. I said last week was his best week as champ. It carried over. It's definitely a character choice. Yeah. And it's way better.
He listens to us.
Yeah.
It's the evidence is there. But yeah, so in this match, Ospreay's fighting. They both get hot tags, which I like in this match, which you usually don't see. So Ospreay's fighting from underneath, and then he gets OC the hot tag. Roderick Strong, after OC cleans house a little, Roderick Strong gives Orange Cassidy a gut buster on the turnbuckle. He basically just drops him, which was, and after he drops him on the turnbuckle, Trent Beretta goes to pile drive Orange Cassidy on the stairs, which it's kind of his thing now.
Yep.
Also, credit where credit's due. I was thinking when Trent came out, because remember a couple episodes ago I was kind of bitching about his presentation and his music. I'm like, man, Sully got this fucking right. Like he covered up everything that was not about him, and then like he's just kind of inheriting like the group.
I don't know about a lot of things, but I do know how AEW likes to tell stories.
And like I'm glad I was wrong on that one because I love this.
Yeah,
I like it's kind of like delusional.
I was right about Trent's like douchebag face. It works so much better as a heel.
Yeah,
he just always seemed like a douchebag.
And he's still doing the pose, like the get your hands in thing. And,
it's like remember when Sami Zayn first turned heel, and he was like basically doing just his super babyface Sami Zayn stuff, but just with a little bit of mustard on it. And it was like the greatest heel thing ever.
Yeah.
Similar.
Yeah, that does make sense. So we saw apron backbreaker and a spear to Orange Cassidy on the outside. Now Orange Cassidy gets the hot tag at Will Ospreay. We see a flying forearm, handstand springboard. He does the Tajiri thing, but like he always ends up with a kick, but he does like a double kick.
Yes. You see, like is a space alien who has like gravity boots.
I don't know. He has to be able to do like a full front split. Like the guy is the most flexible motherfucker ever.
He's always posting videos of Joshi wrestlers doing these fucking like spike moves that look like they're gonna murder everyone. And he's like, I wish I could do these. And then he like tries to incorporate them. I'm like, your moves, that's fine. You don't need to add to it at this point. You're 30. I want to watch you for 10 more years.
Yeah. At this point, a little less.
Yeah.
Save the big stuff for the pay-per-views. Ospreay prevents Trent Beretta from doing a tornado DDT, and then like he tucks his arm around his head. He's trying to like gonna do that deadlift suplex move.
Yeah,
and then Beretta turns that into a half and half, and Ospreay sold it, and the announce team sold
really good half and half.
Yeah, but yeah, they made Trent Beretta feel more threatening here.
I think he could beat Orange
career.
Cassidy.
He has to.
I wouldn't say he has to, but I think it's a chance.
I think if he loses, then what? You know?
I mean, usually, like,
I think
at the end of the feud, the babyface comes out on top.
Yeah,
for most feuds.
But then what's Trent Beretta gonna do? You know what I mean? Like
it's wrestling, he'll go go attack Willow Nightingale or something, and then whatever.
I would like him to win,
make a tag,
and then like Don Callis console
he could pick Trent instead of OC because he's been actively recruiting OC.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, because and it would make more sense if he going to be involved in the finish, like he's going to cost Orange Cassidy. And then
we book that every time we're doing, and we'll do our picks at the end here, but we always throw that in. We're booking, we're guessing what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And there's almost never any interference in these pay-per-view matches.
We're booking this like it's WWE Universe mode.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Who's gonna run in? Who can we? Diesel.
Giant Kamala's running.
Diesel and Kevin Nash are gonna run in at the same time.
Did you know that Giant Kamala's real name is Jim Harris? So he's technically Kamala Harris.
I would love to see him at a podium. Oh, that'd be funny. You think there's a distant relative of the vice president?
I don't think he knows where. He did write a kind of successful soul music album after he retired.
Yeah,
and in one of the songs, he breaks kayfabe and talks shit about a million different wrestlers. If I Had $1 is the name of the song. Talk shit about Hogan so hard. But he's singing with a beautiful voice. So
all the best people.
Yeah.
Make albums about Hulk Hogan. Actually, Macho Man's just pretty goddamn enjoyable.
I like it now for sure.
Roderick Strong. He does multiple running elbows.
I love that
spot where
it's
like running back
a video game thing. He's doom 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 doom. It's like Sonic the Hedgehog beating the shit out of you.
Yeah,
or the Flash or something.
And then he does that side pancake kind of thing.
The match is gonna fucking roll.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I purposely did not count backbreakers in this match because
he didn't do as many as. I mean, I'm going to be counting them because I know you're going to ask. You're going to ask me about it.
Yeah.
So.
How many Skittles are in the candy jar?
You'll probably try to distract me while we're watching it.
I certainly will. I certainly will. Burn your friggin' house down. You're not getting this number right.
Just keep the Aussie deck up. I'm happy.
I'll try. Will Ospreay reverses a suplex, and Will Ospreay reverses the suplex does a punk knee, and then the cheeky Nando's, and then there's a power bomb and a sky twister press, and then Orange Cassidy does the lazy elbow drop on top. That's a whole fucking sequence right there.
Yeah.
I also hate that cheeky Nando's is a word I know.
I like it because when he says it, when I say it without doing his accent, I sound like a dork.
You want to do it? You want to do
cheeky
it?
Nando's.
Yeah.
It was much better. Did you ever hear him describe why it's cheeky Nando's? Doesn't make any sense.
I tried to Google articles and
he talks about it in interviews, and it's just basically it's when you want to go out with the boys and you don't want to get fast food and you're kind of drunk and then explains why going to Nando's late at night, all that stuff. But then the interviewer's yeah, but I asked you why the name of the move is
That's why I said I tried Googling it.
And he's man.
There's no there's an answer, but it's not an answer at all.
I really am dying to find out because he changed the name of it now. The JML driver, he said he'd never tell. It's some kind of inside joke, and I want to know.
Well, if this keeps going the way it's going, we're going to be able to ask him ourselves. When we issue him his Booth Underpod baseball hit.
Yeah.
Merch coming soon, by the way, in case you're
we've had some prototype stuff out there now, but we're going to get some real merch up and running, and they'll be up on bluethunderpod.com.
Which is also finally getting an overhaul. I know I talk about it every week. Life is calming down. We're getting to it.
We're new at this.
Orange Cassidy is stuck on the top rope. Roderick Strong goes for a superplex. Will Ospreay saves him, headbutts Roderick Strong off of the turnbuckle. Trent Beretta grabs Will Ospreay from the middle rope for a German, throws him over his head. Will Ospreay lands on his feet. Big boot to Trent Beretta. And then Orange Cassidy does a DDG onto Trent Beretta.
Yeah.
I had to just write these down in sequences.
The tough thing to write about Will Ospreay matches are like his sequences are 8 moves long.
Yeah.
So it's like,
and this is with Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, who's the next best guy probably
For
at doing the
sequences,
crazy
absolutely.
sequences.
Yeah, what is it called? No, this is Will Ospreay. Yeah, walks up Roderick Strong, like where Roderick Strong's coming off the ropes and Will Ospreay just kind of walks up him and does like a moon, like a backflip.
Yeah,
like lands on his feet, and then a what's it called? Insiguri, and then Orange Cassidy transitions into a DDT combo.
Yeah.
These guys could be tag team fucking champions.
They could, absolutely.
Yeah.
I could watch them wrestle every week.
Yeah.
I'm
tired from watching this.
Will Ospreay. Oh, someday we're gonna get Will Ospreay against MJF.
Oh yeah.
And my life is gonna improve by like 15%.
Now that I know Homeboy can cut a promo like that.
Yeah, I had no idea.
No.
That he's the best promo in maybe the world outside of The Rock. But like the two wrestlers that I know pay so close attention to being precise and not making any mistakes, minutest details.
Yeah.
MJF and Will Ospreay. So like
Nia Jax.
it'll be perfect.
Yeah.
Nia Jax pulled a coup, and I we'll talk about it in the WWE one.
This is kind of fun. Like the ending, toward the end of the match, Trent Beretta gets caught trying to remove the turnbuckle pad. Also, these turnbuckle pads are fucking enormous.
They're giant.
I never noticed it until you tried to take it off.
Most turnbuckle pads are. I found this out from like WrestleMe. Those guys I ordered. The guy like collects memorabilia, and he got an old TNA one, and then like he showed it on the show. When you unwrap it, it's like 3 feet wide or whatever.
Damn.
It's I'm like, how can that be a turnbuckle? But it's just because it gets wrapped in a certain way. Like
it's way bigger than anything I remember from childhood ever
being
pulled off by Bret Hart or.
Well, I remember WWF/WWB, the only promotion that had ropes. So I think that changed what they needed to do for the turnbuckles too. It's cables everywhere else.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. I'm learning. So yeah, Trent gets caught trying to take off the turnbuckle pad. Taven and Bennett hop on the apron, and Roderick Strong. So they're all distracting.
Yeah. I like them as the hyenas.
The ref. Yeah, absolutely. Roderick Strong is about to go for an end of heartache. Right before this, you hear Don Callis, who's been on commentary since the beginning of this match. You hear him throw his headset off. And before Roderick Strong can give Orange Cassidy end of heartache, Don Callis grabs onto Orange Cassidy's foot to stop him from going up. It's like, oh, thanks, boss.
Yeah.
Factioning up. And then Roderick Strong goes for it again. But he eats a Stun Dog Millionaire. And that turns into an os cutter.
Yeah.
Sequence.
Nonstop.
Sequence. I've got a sequence.
How do you even remember all the stuff that you got to do? Like,
I don't know. Well, we learned last week, Will Ospreay has a superpower.
Yeah.
Where
he talks about it on Hey EW. If you haven't checked out that episode of their show.
What is it called?
Hey EW. It's RJ City, the guy that does the
cooking show.
The cooking show. His original show was Hey EW, and he like.
I saw our favorite.
It's very funny.
Out of touch, past performers just shitting all over that cooking show. They're like, "This
the
is
Dudleys."
Dump. No.
This here. That guy
shitting all. He's like, "What is this for?"
There is not a single person on earth that should listen to him about anything. It was delightful. I enjoyed my 23 minutes with it very much.
He doesn't have to fucking watch. Like, I think their argument was like, "Oh, they're doing terrible in the ratings. Why are they worried about a cooking show?" It's like, maybe don't. It's not for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't fucking watch it.
It's a different way to get the name out there too. Maybe somebody likes watching that, and they'll be like, "Oh, I'll check out the other show." Yeah, it's not like it costs a ton to shoot.
It's got to be better than fucking Speed.
It's because that asshole. Why do you win the Speed title, and then the next day you don't carry the belt on Raw? Disco is just a grifter. He just only ever says stuff that he's trying to make people upset because he knows that can drive listenership. So he's selling his soul to get more like listeners. I mean, I think he is really an asshole too, but he leans into that like he has no reason to be mad about a cooking show.
No. I mean, he can't even afford a desk to put his.
He can't even afford to sit up because he lays like a goddamn slug every time.
Like Grandpa Joe. Shout out to the Oompa Loompas. Dude, I was listening back to our.
I love the Taz Oompa Loompa thing.
Oh, the visual of it.
Oompa Loompa Doopity-doo.
17 little Tazes.
Yeah.
With his little singlets on and his orange boots. I was laughing.
Like T-Bone suplexing Violet into the chocolate river.
What did you say? He wouldn't have had to try very hard to kill all those kids.
Yeah, it wouldn't have to come up with a bunch of elaborate contraptions to kill all the kids. I think Taz could take care of it for him. Like one Kata Hajime could probably take on an 8-year-old.
Oh, we got to get through this match. So, Taven and Bennett get in the ring and they run to attack Will Ospreay, but Ospreay pulls the ropes down. Both of the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions. By the way, the Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions.
They may, like as far as I know, they've never defended those belts.
If they're going to be jewelry, that's fine.
It's like the belt is right behind me. It means about that much.
Well, we're about to defend that at least one more time.
Yeah, it's going to now become more important than the Ring of Honor Tag titles.
So both of these guys are outside, and Will Ospreay does like the cleanest top rope flip dive, and he lands. Like a stuntman lands like in one of those big like pillows that saves you from jumping out. Like he just tucks his knees. He just lands so safely. He's so good at his job.
He's like a puma.
But he does not have the instincts of a puma because right after Wardlow runs out and attacks him from behind.
Wardlow with a real nice stiff clothesline. I was like, good job, buddy.
He got a lot of booze as well.
Yeah.
Back in the ring, we have Roderick Strong ducking an orange punch. Trent Beretta gives Orange Cassidy a Busaiku knee. And then Roderick Strong gives Orange Cassidy the end of Heartache for a W for the bad guys going into the pay-per-view.
It usually means Cassidy's going to go over.
I would like Trent Beretta to win. We'll do reviews later. But I get it. Orange Cassidy's the shit. I just worry about what's going to happen to him afterwards.
Or it just means that Ospreay's going to win, probably.
It would be in their best interest to put their a belt on their biggest.
Yeah, and also a belt that will keep people from yapping constantly about needing to put the world title on him right away.
Another thing I was thinking about, you said exactly that. I'm like, give this guy some meaning elsewhere so they're not clamoring.
And I feel like it's the entire wrestling community online is like, oh, you have to give it to him this year at Wembley. Like, they're gonna fucking go back to Wembley again. Like, did you see they moved? It's not enough, but they moved it a week further at least. All in and All Out are now a couple of weeks apart.
Oh,
they moved the Chicago show back. It's still dumb.
Yeah,
it needs to be a month, but 2 weeks is better than the 6 days or whatever it was last time.
Well, I'm sure All Out will still sell out because it's Chicago.
Yeah.
Dude, it was fine. It was a glorified house show.
I thought there were a couple great matches, but you're right. The stakes were not nearly as
I was at the show, and we're just everyone around us. We were talking. We're just like, I just wish something mattered on this goddamn show. So after the match, we have Will Ospreay and Orange Cassidy getting beat down in the ring by the Undisputed Kingdom minus Adam Cole.
Ospreay is bloodied,
and Trent, and boy, is he bleeding. He gets hit in the head with the international title, and he is bleeding. Don Callis gets up to do something. Trent Beretta kind of get away. And he backs up. Trent Beretta has a Gogo Plata on Orange Cassidy on the ramp, and then end of Heartache onto Will Ospreay. Gogo Plata.
That's the Undertaker move.
It's the Hell's Gate.
It's the Gogo Plata because
Gogo Plata.
Gogo Plata is the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu move that the Undertaker ripped off, made worse, and called the Hell's Gate.
Credit where credit's due. Again, I know I'm saying that a lot here, but most legit striker in the history of pro wrestling.
Who?
The Undertaker.
There's 5 guys on this show that are Takeshita. How about that first strike?
How about the 2 guys with legit martial arts backgrounds that
fought
each other?
That had a Muay Thai match.
Which ultimately wasn't what I wanted it to be, but
that was an interesting thing though.
Interesting.
Yeah.
This was fun. This was a fun one.
It was.
Nice opener. Nice build.
Oh, I just thought of something. How about if he's healthy enough to actually in-ring perform, Adam Cole Bebe does interfere, and then Adam Cole Bebe becomes Will Ospreay's feud for a while. Because that could be an interesting... And then you can pair your returning babyface, MJF, with Will Ospreay. you're too.
Where did because he's in the Don Callis family right now, Will Ospreay, right?
Yeah, he's like it's very tentative.
But
He's always got his hands up, like
Yeah.
I don't
But
really
where
wanna do
did
it."
where does MJF stand with Don Callis? I don't remember. Do
I
they-
mean, if we really look at his history, he's kind of fucked over everybody in the entire company.
Yeah.
But he like the turning over a new leaf thing. I like headcanon. I was like, okay, that's like the 12-step program. He said his I'm sorry's to the people he hurt.
Right.
Like,
Okay. We'll
but
see.
I'd like Cole. I think would be a good partner for a like a couple of month feud for Will Ospreay.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want him losing. Is he got to win his first feud back? Adam Cole? He's got to look strong as fuck, doesn't he? If he's leading the faction.
Probably. He doesn't. He's so good at being a heel
Yeah.
that I think, and he believes it too, that I don't think he feels like he needs to get all the wins or like necessarily get wins that you would expect somebody that is like on the rise or going to be on a certain part of the card to get, because he can just open his mouth and do that smile and like,
Right.
and he's just the slime ball again. It's like Jay White kind of too, like
Yeah.
just talking. Okay, I don't care how many matches you lost. You're awesome.
Maybe Adam Cole comes back with his wife and everyone's
I really hope that happens because I miss her.
miss the shit out of her. Like, as hot as the women's division is right now, it's just like, man, you gotta bench a 3, 4, and 5 hitters, like just waiting to fucking
And
come back.
she's probably the only non-Tony Storm that can like really cut an engaging promo / interview. Most of the women in that division can fucking go, but like Britt's got the charisma too, and like Tony Storm's like the only other one that has the full package.
Yeah, it's starting to for as good as the women's division is, we have some oil and water situations.
She did have a back injury, which those are like historically, you never fucking know. Like, I remember Joe Creedy hurt his back and it was like 2 weeks, and then it was no, he's retired.
Yeah. Well, we had one good year with him. Next segment was a lot of fun.
Matthew and Nicholas.
Jackson. So we had the Young Bucks backstage with their own security team
Yeah.
that said Elite Security on their polo shirts. There were 6 of them. And Nicholas Jackson's holding up a poster or a piece of paper that's
It looks like a wanted poster, is what I said, but
which
it's like
they-
a keep him out of this building.
yeah, which they laser printed 800 of them. Just like a little 8 by 10.
I liked it. Nicholas did almost kind of the sociopath thing when he's like, Darby, that prick.
Yeah.
It was just weird staring off into the middle distance.
Nicholas starts with, you cannot miss him, and Matthew goes, get a good look at him, guys. And Nicholas says, he looks like a criminal, for God's sakes. Take a look. Hey, Darby Allin, you prick, you attacked the Elite unprovoked last week, and guess what? You're barred this week. I really want him to start talking more. We had a couple good weeks.
He like sucked ass at promos for 15 years. And they found this character, and I mean, I like Tony Storm too. Like, she found her character, and then it was awesome. Like, Matthew was always the talker of these two, and now Nicholas is like he draws your eye every time.
I get so excited when he's on TV. I'm like, he's gonna say something hysterical.
And it's that like dead stare thing he does. It's great.
Matthew says, in the interest of having the safest locker room in the business, sorry, Darby, you're not allowed tonight. You're not allowed in tonight. Get a good look. This guy is resilient as hell. He just broke his foot a second ago. He got Final Destinationed by a bus in New York just a couple weeks ago, and he's still standing.
I still want credit for my Bang Bang Bus joke. Like, that's the Bang Bang Bus hit him because it's Jay White driving.
That means several things. And he's out for blood, so get a good look and do not let him in the building, okay? What are you standing here for? Go do your job. Keep the energy up. Tuck your shirt in. I rewound just out of morbid curiosity. Everyone's shirts were already tucked in, which makes him an extra big.
Yes, that's his thing. You know, like
This is good stuff so far.
He said he did something last week that I forgot to mention. His Matthew Jackson sport coat this week was. I would wear that thing to a wedding. It was awesome. It was like sparkly ass. Like he borrowed it from Ricochet or something. Like, it was great.
Thankfully, not one of his turtlenecks and gold chains. Ricochet, like,
I have a comment to make about his outfit on that episode.
Tune into our WWE episode of Booth Underpod. Sanjay Dutt walks in unexpectedly, And he says, Nicholas, Matthew, I want to commend you guys. You guys are taking care of problems. Darby Allin, he ain't going to be an issue. This past Saturday in Collision, you guys took care of 2/3 of your problem with FTR thanks to the Righteous and Lance Archer. And tonight it all comes...
Who I assume have been only wrestling on the Vortex of Rampage.
Of course so. Yeah. The Righteous will... I think they've been on Dynamite.
They pop up for like a thing and then go back away.
They don't live there. They visit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they live on Collision. And
they walk through the cupboard.
Yeah.
To get into our dimension. Occasionally for...
Is that what was that movie with the...
The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe was what I was doing.
What was
the Indian in the cupboard?
Small Soldiers.
Small soldiers.
And tonight it comes to a head. My Indian giant, he's going to destroy the American Dragon. And this is where my stomach sank into my feet.
Well, at the end, I understood why they were doing what they were doing. Yeah. Because it wasn't a match. It was supposed to get the big guy to hurt them, this dude.
One thing
brought out a big envelope of cash for him.
I got it.
Also, something I'm saying is, by a million miles, the best wrestler of those guys. Yeah. Of those, like, Elegante... like those like 7'4" dudes. Yeah. He can wrestle. He's not like awesome, but he can wrestle. It's pretty amazing.
Move his body.
Yeah.
One thing I was thinking while this was going on, I'm like, all right, let me get this straight. You guys book the show. You have booking powers. You're paying a guy to beat up your opponent. Fine. Why don't you have a 3-on-1? Why don't you have a 2-on-1? Book it more, like be more dastardly.
Because if it's that egregious, I would imagine that would be the type of thing that Tony Khan would then intervene with.
But Tony Khan's not there.
Because they haven't done, he was this week.
Wink, wink.
But like, we talked about it before, like if they were to do something too on the nose like that, like, oh, we're going to be 5-on-1.
Yeah.
I think that is where, okay, even working from home, no, you can't do that. That's not part of our bylaws. You can't just book that kind of match. You still have to be kind of sneaky about it.
I just didn't take this job. Or, like, unless they're like, this is a no-holds-barred match. Or, like, something where, like...
I would have personally, because it's a, like, circus act kind of thing. I would have got Roosh to, like, we don't care if you win Roosh, try to kill him.
Yeah.
Because that's what his gimmick is,
but
basically.
That's my point. Like, this just didn't feel dangerous enough.
No, because Brian Daniels could tie Satnam Singh in like 100 knots.
Yeah, Roosh would have made more.
Roosh would have been remember when Roosh beat the shit out of Jack Perry that episode?
Roosh beats the shit out of everybody.
But the Jack Perry one was like, oh, I think he pissed him off or something. Because it was just a bully beating up another man.
He's good at it.
He's excellent.
Matt Jackson says, Matthew.
Jackson
said, hey, if he beats him, cool. If he hurts him, great. Am I right? And Sanjay says, well, as long as the money's in the envelope, and make sure you put some rupees in there, because tonight, Sutton, he's going to break Brian like a pencil.
I always think of rupees like they're gems, and it's just dollars.
The Legend of Zelda all the time.
Yeah.
You have to locate them under jars to save
Sanjay
up for a better sword.
Been living his best life for about 25 years. He's been doing his own, that same thing. He seems to love it. It's his thing. Yeah. He was a good wrestler, and then... like, he retired, went right into this exact manager character. He's been doing it for like 15 years.
It's good.
Yeah.
He's a great talker. I was thinking while he's talking, I'm like, this guy's fucking good. There's good at his job.
A number of good managers in AEW.
Yeah. And he goes running off like a lunatic laughing. And then Matthew is yelling at everyone.
I do like that Matthew calls Darby Darb every time.
Yeah. He's yelling at people off screen to keep the energy up, to tuck their shirts in, and to get the next segment going. And he also wants a water bottle.
Yeah.
So good. Like I said my piece on that. Yeah. Be a more dastardly heel. But
the jacket was the standout. Thing.
In the ring next, we had the Bang Bang Gang. You had mentioned this wagon. They brought the wagon out. It's like a little foldable nylon wagon.
I love that they have not just the two different belts. They kept the old trios and then also took the pink trios.
Yeah.
So they all have 3 belts apiece.
There's 9 fucking belts.
They're also this episode is the first time on commentary they're calling it the Unified Trios title.
Okay.
They said it a bunch of times, and I was like, "Oh, sweet!" So the belts is just for funniness, which is great because it is very funny.
Yeah. Excalibur had some fun with that, where he said something like, I don't know why they got to carry all the belts around. And then Taz goes, what are they going to do with the wagon if they don't put all the titles on? They got to have all the titles. They bought the wagon.
Did you see the reveal? I didn't see the show, but from Collision when they did the Bang Bang Gang got their intro, where they're like standing back to back to back with the dark and they're spinning.
Yeah.
As the house lights came up, it revealed that Pac was like unconscious at Jay White's feet while they were doing the thing. It looked badass. Yeah. I would have done it on Dynamite, but
yeah, well, I would.
Actually, Collision got 550,000 viewers this week. It's a weird time for them because like depending on what NBA games are up against, it is really deciding like what shows do what. But like Dynamite got a terrible rating, and then Collision got his best rating since like Punk left.
Yeah, I think American Idol still pulls like 50 million views a week. So like, it's fine.
There's like 80 million like rotary land phones in people's houses still. So, like,
for real?
Yeah, and they pay rent on them. Do you know that one? Ma Bell charges like $4 a month, and it's just old people that don't realize I can stop paying this.
Dave Ramsey would have a fit. The money man. So Jay White's in the ring. He says, well, lucky you. The greatest three-man team in the game is here. We got fully cocked Colton Gunn, and we got Switchblade Jay White. We got Austin. He didn't get a nickname.
No.
Your Unified Trios champions, the Bang Bang Gang.
He's got enough personality. He doesn't need a nickname.
What happened?
He's got enough personality. He doesn't need a nickname.
I hate the order of the Bang Bang. It makes me gag when he does it. It's so but like, I don't know, is that heel heat? Probably.
Jay White, I think, before he comes out onto screen, is like a salamander, and he transforms from like a wet, slithery salamander into the mostly human form that is Jay White. Even though he talks is like
a slithery
it's all like it's how he wrestles. He's real sneaky. When he rips you, he does like underhanded. Like when he called Dax Fuzzy Wuzzy that one time, I almost like pissed my pants. It's always like not right. Like I'm not calling you a bald motherfucker. Right. I just say Fuzzy Wuzzy. Then you got to think about it. You're like, oh, he was the bear with no hair. Fuck you.
He says, your Unified Trios champions, the Bang Bang Gang. And then the crowd's like making noise. He goes, oh, I know what you want. And then
they did want this.
Guns up for the Bakersfield Gold members, and the whole crowd points their guns up. Yeah. That's a cool gimmick.
Yes, it is.
And it looks fucking badass on TV.
And these guys rule.
Jay White is just can't miss. But he says, but on that note, I actually think there might be one very special little gold member out there walking around for this past week feeling confused, asking himself how he ended up in the situation that he's in, how he ended up burning in that Switchblade spotlight at the feet of the Bang Bang Gang. That makes a lot more sense than you say what happened on Collision.
Yeah.
Because he was literally burning at the feet on the Collision show.
Yeah, I just saw a clip of it on Reddit, but it was awesome.
I just thought that was a nice poetic line. Okay. He said that one little gold member is, and this is where they start asking each other, is it Pac or is it Pac? Is it Pac or is it Pac?
I like that he keeps going back to it, too.
Yeah.
You know, they tell him, Pac, what'd you say it was? Pac?
You hear the guy in the crowd later?
Who wrote this shit?
There's some guy that's like unusually well mic'd, and he goes, it's Pac like Tupac. And they're, to the guy's credit in the ring, they're not acknowledging this guy at all. I'd be laughing.
They broke when he did the Who Wrote This Shit.
Oh, they turn around.
Yeah.
Says, Pac, let me tell you how you wound up here. You've made 3 big mistakes. Mistake number 1, when the Bang Bang Gang is strolling down these corridors backstage and you see us coming, you run, you scatter, you turn the other way. But what did you do? You stood there and looked at us with that face.
He does have that face.
It's that face.
Like, you want me to watch your kids for you? I know, no thanks, Pac. I know you're a nice guy, but your face, no, I can't.
It's the badass with a heart of gold. Mistake number 2, when the Bang Bang Gang was handling Bang Bang business in this ring with Azúcar Rocky Romero. A couple weeks ago, one little bastard decides to come and stick his ugly little bastard nose where it doesn't belong.
Yeah, he's short. I wouldn't call him little.
No.
He's built like a chimney.
Yeah. No, but mistake number 3, and your biggest mistake of all, Pac, you questioned me. You questioned us. You asked us. You pleaded. You begged us to make you care. So we just gave you exactly what you asked for. Pac. I listened to this a couple times. I couldn't make sense of that.
I'm pretty sure it's Pac, too.
Pac.
Excalibur said Pac, and he pronounces everything correctly.
Yeah, Pac. And this is when the guy in the crowd yelled, "Who wrote this shit?"
I thought it was a quite good promo too, but
yeah.
it was still funny.
It was super funny. Pac appears on the screen and he says, "Yo, yo, 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 bang, bang, the Billy Gang. That's more like it, boys. That's what I'm talking about. You've warmed me up a little bit, and I can't even be mad at you because, like you said, I did provoke you after all. But, gentlemen, 3-on-1, that's not exactly fair now, is it? So allow me to introduce you to my amigos, mi hermanos." And the lights go out in the Death Triangle.
Should have saw this coming. I didn't, but I love the Death Triangle. I'm very happy they're back
Very
together.
excited for this match, too. So the Death Triangle, Rey Fenix, El Pentacero Miedo, and Pac all run to the ring, and they have like a long fight.
Yeah,
like it's not like a beatdown, but eventually, Death
it's like
Triangle,
a mini match almost.
Way long. Like, I was like looking away for a second. I'm like, this will be over in a second. They were fighting for a long time.
I think Penta and Phoenix indulge whenever they get the opportunity.
Well, given how much Phoenix is actually healthy, he takes every chance. I thought he hurt himself doing his pose.
Yeah,
because he like slipped a little. I'm like, oh, the fuck, he tear his shoulder, like just throwing his arms back. So yeah, this is the trios title match at the pay-per-view.
And this is where, in all caps, I wrote, "Oh my God, they are calling them the Unified Trios titles." Thank fucking Christ.
Yeah. So that'll be another amazing thing on an already goddamn stacked show.
Mm-hmm.
Up next, I'm not sure how I feel about this. We had a number one contenders match for the FTW title. And the winner will face Chris Jericho at Double or Nothing for said title.
Match was fine. I didn't feel a ton for it.
No.
Like, they had decent chemistry and they like worked well together. Not botches or anything. The moves were executed well. I just don't understand why it was a three-way dance.
Yeah.
And like,
well, it's to do the schmaz finish that they did.
Yeah.
And poor Brian Keith. Like, I know this guy was brought up with a bunch of fanfare. I don't know much about him, but like, he was brought to debut on Dana. Maybe not debut.
He's like, he knew he was going to Ring of Honor first. Yeah. They have been using it as their NXT. I think he's like 35-2 or something on Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
So like when Athena comes over eventually, I expect her to be in the world title picture immediately. But I do think he's starting to use it as a developmental kind of thing.
Yeah.
And as much as Brian Keith like was awesome on the Indies and everything, he didn't know TV wrestling and he did need to develop a little bit.
Yeah.
So I still think he's got a bright future.
I hope so, because just based on my ignorant ass who never heard of this guy before, and I'm like, and then everything you read and listen to, this guy's awesome.
I didn't know anything about him, but he was like the PWI #1 in the Top 500 3 years ago or something. I was like, okay. This is like 5'7" indie guy.
So that adds more to anyway, these three went Hook, Shibata, and Brian Keith. Winner gets Chris Jericho at the pay-per-view. They went 6 minutes, 30 seconds, and then Jericho and Big Bill are at commentary. And for the match, I just wrote lots of chokes and suplexes and
Yeah. I mean, like, it was really good action. But it's just the weirdness of like the...
It just seems super disjointed.
I think it felt thematically disjointed. I didn't feel like it felt disjointed like they had poor physical chemistry.
Correct.
But it felt disjointed in that, like, we don't really even know what we're doing here. Like,
right.
What's the point of this? It was to get to an end, but...
But didn't Chris Jericho say last week that Hook is going to fight somebody on Collision for... Is he just dragging his feet more?
Yeah, probably. I didn't think there was a chance that this could have been a... Like, I thought Jericho made it pretty clear. Of course, he's a disingenuous douchebag.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he's probably moving goalposts and stuff because he keeps doing the biggest smile. Like, oh man, I know I'm making it harder on myself now, guys. But fuck you.
I do like that he's like being like a huge like purposeful prick now.
Oh yeah,
like just the
he
guy
never breaks character either. No. He's always a big smile. He only calls Big Bill Redwood.
This is probably him in real life.
Yeah.
This is probably how he is. So the finish saw this dope finish. Shibata had a figure four on Brian Keith, and then Hook puts the red rum on Brian Keith. Brian Keith taps, which in this situation means both people win, which sets up a triple threat match at Double or Nothing. It'll be Shibata versus Hook versus Chris Jericho versus...
Jericho was very happy about that.
Weird, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if I were a villainous character... and I had a guy like Hook trying to kill me. Mm-hmm. I think more moving parts is like a better, safer thing.
Yeah.
He could, not that pinning Shibata is super easy, but he could then like retain his title by beating Shibata instead of the guy that wants to kill him.
Losing it all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just historically, I don't remember champs being stoked to be in triple threat matches for that reason. But he said
I'm sorry. He did say that too, so that's why I think it's part of a plan or something. Because he's like, "Oh, I know I'm not doing myself any favors here."
Also, too, no DQ and triple threat matches. And
so Big Bill's gonna fucking murder everybody. I love Shibata's juxtaposition of his character to his like still very brutal in-ring style.
Yeah,
it's like the sweetest man in the world that goes out and tries to cripple everyone.
Yeah, and he's got oddly good comedic timing.
Yeah,
for a guy that doesn't even speak the language, right? So after the match, Chris Jericho's the crowd's chanting "Let them fight" because they want a resolution,
a real
to this
finish. Yeah,
we're all like, "Oh, this can't possibly be the end."
Yeah.
And Jericho's like, "Yeah, guys, let them fight."
Is there precedent for that? I couldn't think of another double submission in any like company anywhere.
It has to be.
I'm sure it's some like in WWE or AEW is what I really mean. I couldn't think of any.
Nothing comes to mind.
I'm sure there's like
double pins galore.
Oh yeah, all over the place.
Shawn Michaels and the British Bulldog.
Yeah,
German suplex.
Yeah, back when people didn't know how to do a German suplex and they would just lay on their own shoulders all the time.
So he says, "Hi guys, hi everybody. I just wanted to get on the mic to get a little more camera time because I like to do that, right? That's what made me like him. I'm like, he's just loving that he gets to say fuck you to
That's
everybody.
His catchphrase now is I just want to be on Dynamite as much as I can.
Great. And the ha 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 ha. It's like, well, I want to say a little more. I want to say, Rick Knox, that was an interesting call. 2 winners on the double submission makes my job a little harder. Double or nothing in Las Vegas, but que sera sera, right, Redwood? I think you're right. I think
he only calls him Redwood.
I got to tell you guys this though, Shibata and Hook. I'm really proud of you guys for everything you picked up from the learning tree.
So condescending.
For being part
it's like
of the
Becky Lynch, but like its character, not the real person.
This is actually good.
Yeah.
For being part of the Jericho Vortex, but I got to warn you, as the longest running for the world champion in history at over 33 days, I'm just getting started. You see Taz in the background, just looking.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? Mm-hmm. What the fuck? Right? He's so pissed. So he says, even though I'll be seeing you in Las Vegas. And the Chris Jericho, well, I wrote down what he said because he tripped over his words quite a bit, and it just made me laugh. So he says, even though I'll be seeing you in Las Vegas, for the first time ever, 3-way for the rules for the World Rules Championship match.
At first, I was like, what's the Road Rules champ? Are they bringing back like Eric Nyes or something? Yeah. He a mouthful of cotton on this one at the end.
We tried.
Not usually for Jericho.
No, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Well, because he's got to get for the world and like three-way rules for the. Actually, none of that. Really
Will Ospreay just did like a 10-minute straight one with maximum intensity and not one stumbled word.
Yeah. Hopefully, he never, ever sees the light of the Jericho Vortex.
He already did. He was already a part of it. It was Wembley. Jericho petitioned for Will Ospreay because he's the greatest wrestler in the world.
I'm counting Will Ospreay's AEW tenure.
I know what you mean, like in the actual stable or whatever. But he has been in the orbit.
Yeah.
He also, Jericho did in that promo a few weeks ago that we loved, he credited himself with Will Ospreay's success because he had a match with him.
He says, I'm going to walk out of Las Vegas as the winner. Thanks, guys. And that's as this is all going on, Shivani is saying quietly in the background, he's getting a text from Tony Khan, and he says the match was made official before Chris Jericho even got it out of his mouth. So Tony Khan was just working back there.
I can believe that Tony Khan would get that shit because he tweets his nonsense so fast that he would do that too.
Also, too, this was a very, very small breadcrumb that, Tony Khan's here, kind of thing. Like, and they
paid it off at the end of the show.
Yeah, and like he'll do it on the show, but he's not like, he's there at the end of the show physically, but he hasn't been so far. So it's something that like I didn't really notice at first.
Yeah, no, I didn't either. Yeah. I think I heard them say it and I rewound it. If he's going to continue to be on screen at all, I want him to stay in that silent role where he's in gorilla or he's in a car driving somebody around or whatever, that he doesn't have to do any.
I have questions when we get to that portion of the show. Really like the brevity of this. They just did a Mercedes Willow recap.
It's fucking great.
Great.
It's a great recap.
They also showed the origin of the beef,
Yeah.
which I don't think they've done to this degree yet.
And you know what's? I had this thought while watching this thing. It's crazy with how down we were on the build for most of it. We are at a point right now, at the exact right point for it to feel like this. This is very clearly the biggest women's match AEW's ever had. Feels like the biggest by a long margin. It's like it's the match. I don't think they've ever anything like even come close. It's amazing how they stuck the landing.
Britt and Thunder Rosa cage match.
That
was a big one.
It was all right. The crowd wasn't really behind it because Thunder, and it underperformed after their Lights Out match. And neither one of them is anywhere near the star that Mercedes is. And everyone absolutely super loves the super over, maybe most over babyface. Will and Nightingale. It just feels like they stuck the landing so hard that like, oh yeah, no, this is the biggest women's match they've ever done. They took a long way around to get there, but I'm shocked that they were able to get there.
Yeah.
Like this package, I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, it's gonna be amazing.
Package was amazing. It's what I've been asking for. Like, please just tell me all the things I don't know from the other company, and they did.
Yeah.
So we have the New Japan match. We show where Mercedes got hurt, which has been most of the meat of this build, and then Mercedes Boston debut, so on and so forth. So like, awesome little recap of the entire thing. Willow's
been quietly cutting like 5-star promos every goddamn week too.
Oh, she's great. And like, she's again, and you mentioned this pretty much week over week now. She's got this super likable character, but also just like, yeah, I'll fucking do it again.
Yeah, I'm gonna like my power by my do is no joke.
No.
Yeah.
And like kind of like annoyed, like she has to deal with this. Like she can't be as happy and happy-go-lucky as she wants to be.
That's why I came around to liking the Mercedes character, because it would take that much douchey behavior over that long a period of time to get somebody like Willow, like who's very forgiving, very kind, to be like, all right, fucking enough.
Yeah.
Like that's why it worked.
I still think Mercedes needs to wrestle her goddamn ass.
She needs to have like a 5-star match after like, which is possible for both of these two.
Girl needs to
Mercedes
back her shit up.
Her heel acting during a match is the best I've ever seen. Like her aloof heel behavior within the match. Like her acting is not good outside of the ring, but like in a match, she is awesome at that. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to this.
Right. Yeah, that's when I'm cautiously optimistic. Next, we had a commercial for the Young Bucks' new Reebok pumps coming out. Okada was in this one.
I'm going to get some pumps.
I don't know if I'm between that or the Roman Reigns Jays. Did you see those?
No.
They're doing Roman Reigns Jordan 12s. They're all black with just like red. Like,
I mean, historically, Jordans are, that's my.
They're all black. They're fucking beautiful. So
I kind of want Adam Cole's super yellow Jordans. Just look at my feet.
The ones?
Yeah. The ones are my favorite by far. If I win the lottery or something, or we get like 10 million listeners someday, I want the ones in every possible color, like combination. I would just wear them every day. It's my favorite shoe ever.
One of the a lot of square footage in the studio will be dedicated to shoe racks.
I'll have to get rid of my video game console collection.
Make it bigger. Yeah. Make it bigger. Okay. We'll buy more video game consoles. Next, we had a pretty dope Takeshita hype promo, like reminding us that Takeshita's the shit.
Exactly.
And then right after that, we got Takeshita versus Matt Sydal.
Poor Matt Sydal. He fucking executed him.
Yes, it was
an execution. I wouldn't call it a squash. No, it was an execution. It was like when Mike Tyson fought Joe Frazier's son, and you could see that it was an execution. Waiting, like he was scared in his eyes. Like that's how I felt about Matt Sydal in this match.
I think I say that every episode. I think I quote Quint every
it's
episode.
Not every, but I would say it is one of your gimmicks.
Yeah. It's good monologue. Quint's good character.
Maybe the greatest movie monologue.
Jaws, yeah. Mm-hmm. Takeshita has the best Blue Thunder bomb in professional wrestling.
Yeah, and German suplex, too.
Yeah, he's a freak.
And I think because he did it here, he's taken my advice and making that forearm elbow thing his finisher rather than the rising knee, because he finished it with the forearm thing.
He sure did. Matt Sydal is kneeling, and Takeshita winds up like a Looney Tune and forearm. I thought it was a punch. It was a forearm.
It's like
in the
I'm
same
not sure
general
exactly where
region.
it's the thing that looks like he's knocking somebody's head off and it makes a big like thunderclap noise.
Yeah.
And it looks awesome.
Yeah.
And the knee he does is awesome too. But that he'll do it rolling when they're standing up, or he'll do it like the way he did on their knees, and it always just is like bam.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, you killed
like
him.
A sack of flour. 1 minute 58 seconds. So after the match, Don Callis whispers something in Takeshita's ear, assumingly to continue the beatdown because he does. And then we hear.
I loved how he did it too. He like grabbed poor Matt Seidel's hand like he was gonna pick him up, like help him up, but he then helped him up so hard, one-handed, mind you, like pulled him up into a German suplex and then Germaned him. Like from like man laying on the ground, you grab his hand and then you pull him up with your off arm, catch him in German suplex. Takeshita is like he's Chun-Li. Not Chun-Li. What's
Bruce
the
Lee.
No. Bloodsport.
Oh, it's been a minute.
Maybe I had it right. Maybe it was a Chun-Li.
Chun-Li was in Street Fighter.
Street Fighter, but like, but he's like, I'm sticking to my, I would do a surprise world heavyweight title win for Takeshita and have him keep it for a year or something. I think he's that good, and like, you could create your final boss immediately, like. Because he's absolutely believable. He's just one of the scariest dudes I've ever seen in my life.
Right.
He's one of the best athletes, and he's really good at being a heel too. Like, I would love to see like him win an eliminator and then like win the title next week.
Well, I think you're in luck because I think he's winning on Sunday.
Yeah, I think so too.
He
should. Moxley doesn't need.
No. Also,
and Takeshita loses too much.
Also, Takeshita can go fight in Japan for a while. Like,
yeah,
you know,
he loves it in America. He did a big. That was a work.
What?
There was a thing in like the dirt sheets, Takeshita talking about how, oh yeah, when I came here, I thought it would be different culturally, but I'm unhappy being in America, and that's not true at all. Because if you look at his social media feeds, he's still talking about like Cinnabon and all his friends and stuff. It's just his heel character.
Cinnabon is good. I can't believe his body has seen a Cinnabon.
Yeah.
Tekken ass.
He must just work out so goddamn hard.
Does crunches and watches Love on the Spectrum.
That's like your third Love on a Spectrum reference.
It's a good show. It's a good show. Moxley does come out. Wild Thing hits, and the camera work is atrocious because he just appears in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
We don't see where he comes from.
These guys had a fucking banger, if you remember, on Rampage years ago. 2022, I think.
These two did.
Moxley and Takeshita.
Rampage, of course, I didn't see.
It was all 2022. You might have been watching. Like, Rampage was still kind of a thing that people paid attention to. It kicked ass. They have great chemistry.
Yeah. Well, then this match should be amazing.
I'm always a little worried about Moxley because he's such a straight brawler. You don't know if everybody's going to have chemistry with him.
Yeah.
Takeshita does. Absolutely does.
Mox has a mic. He looks like he's going to go talk, and then he just clocks Takeshita in the face with the mic. And then Moxley says, I will see you at Double or Nothing. Perfect.
Yeah.
Takeshita's going to fucking win. Backstage, we're back with the Young Bucks again. Nick Jackson says, Darby Allin, Nicholas Jackson. Darby Allin, you stupid idiot. We know you're watching. We know you're here in Bakersfield. We saw you on the travel list, but guess what? You're banned from the arena. And then Nicholas Jackson has posters with Darby's face on it and says, do not admit, barred from building, and then it says Darby Allin.
Looked like somebody who had never done anything Photoshop or even Microsoft Paint before. It was like, I'm going to put this together.
The name made me laugh because they're looking for a guy.
Yeah.
They don't need to have his name on.
Yes.
I don't know if that was on purpose or not, but that's funny. So the Bucks turn the corner and they run into Swerve, and Swerve says,
the line of the decade.
What's up, turds?
I rewound it 3 times. There's 3 words. What's up, turds?
Oh, I'm sorry.
They were so shocked by it, they didn't even know how to react. They were just like, huh?
I'm sorry, am I sitting in y'all's seat? And Matthew's like, oh, no, you're the champ, man. Make yourself at home. And they're asking Swerve if they saw Darby, and Swerve puts his gum in a poster, crinkles it up, and kind of throws it and says, no, I haven't seen him, and hit my music. And Matthew's like, I don't hit his music, but who does it? Hit his music. Push the button. And then
Swerve is back to being fucking top of the world, man.
Yeah.
He's back rolling. Feels like a giant star again.
And he made Nick Wayne feel pretty okay too.
Yeah, Nick Wayne can wrestle. I mean,
Nick Wayne can wrestle. Nick Wayne doesn't wrestle enough.
Nick Wayne.
I
mean, like, he's not like one of these young people that didn't have a lot. He had like 500 independent matches or something. Like, he's got a ton of practice in ring.
They should put him in the ring more, just so like we get more familiar with him. Right?
I bet we've open cage matches, a bunch of like rampages and stuff on there.
Yeah. Well, he's probably what do they rank it out of 10? Like your don't they?
Like if people,
like
I don't pay attention to the people's rankings, but
okay.
but they'll rank like a guy like I saw Edge was like a 9.1 overall, or like Will Ospreay was like a 9.7. What's his name? Jack Victory. Check out Turnbuckle Time Machine was a 1.2, I think.
I buy that.
Yeah.
I mean, he looked like he managed an Ace Hardware.
Useless.
So Swerve fought Nick Wayne. They went 8
Mm-hmm.
minutes and 55 seconds. At first, Nick Wayne was like afraid to go anywhere near Swerve.
Because Swerve is scary dude. And he tried to kill Nick Wayne at one time.
Yeah. In his home.
Yeah.
Right? So good continuity there. And then they have
Wayne has the most punchable face in all of pro wrestling, I think.
So tiny.
He's got that like Jay Cutler like face.
So he just did like
that sound you could probably picture.
Selfie face.
You just want to slap him.
Swerve's standing on the outside at one point, and Nick Wayne is standing on the middle turnbuckle. He does a moonsault from the middle turnbuckle to the outside. Swerve catches him like he weighs nothing.
Yeah, Nick Wayne's not real little.
No, Nick Wayne swings it into a tornado DDT. It was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Backdrops onto the ring apron. He does a swerve stomp from the apron to the outside. Nick Wayne does a fucking Rolling Thunder Code Red.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Nick Wayne's got a great moveset, man.
He does, man. That's why I said more of him on TV.
Yeah.
It's like when Dante Martin was on TV all the time and he got over just because he was on TV all the time. Like,
well, Nick Wayne's got more character than Dante Martin ever did.
Even more to the point.
Because he's working with Christian.
Yeah. And keep him...
I think it will elevate him after he's done with the patriarchy. I love his Christian's my father's t-shirt. I should have gotten one of those. I never did.
Make one.
Yeah, good idea. No, I can only make Blue Thunder Pot. But I do think like you're right. Yeah, I do want to see him more.
Yeah.
But I think that's probably what's going to happen is that once that
like
faction, that'll be his thing.
That's
like,
and then Swerve does a cool thing where he does a power bomb. Like
the power slam, that like converting power slam thing looked awesome.
It was
I don't even know how he did it.
Bomb. So Swerve's got Nick Wayne in a power bomb position.
Yeah, he like from the start. He started in a power bomb, like head between the legs kind of thing.
And he flips him up. So like normally it would look like Nick Wayne is sitting like on his face more or less.
Yeah,
Before he's being thrown for a power bomb, but he keeps rotating, and Swerve. Like he turns.
The physics don't make sense, but
he catches like he puts his right arm like where his ass would be, and like he keeps rotating into like a power slam.
He phased through part of Nick Wayne's body to get to that part because
it was a glitch.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
There? Yeah. It doesn't make. You should be able to get a guy into a power slam position from that. I mean, but Swerve has a lot of stuff where he's like, well, you move like a different thing.
Yeah. That was. I saw that. I'm like, someone's going to steal that and make that a finisher.
Yeah. Well,
it looked amazing.
Maybe. Probably not a lot of people that can do it.
Yeah.
A lot of his stuff is hard to steal because it's like so smooth, and it has to be so smooth to do it at all. Then I don't think a lot of people can do it.
We'll see. When Cruz del Toro is doing it in 2 months, we'll see. But the finisher was house call. Super happy. I'm going to say it every time he doesn't do a swerve stomp. I'm super happy he's not doing the swerve stomp.
Well, I like two things about this. The house call is just clearly a better finisher.
Yeah.
But because he's now moved the swerve stomp to a signature, he does like 8 different variations of it too, and they're all awesome. Like he did the one to the outside of the ring. He'll do sometimes the one where he just jumps on your shoulders standing in front of you because he's like a superhero.
Right.
The classic one where you're in the corner, but like it's not just that one now because that's harder to set up and stuff. So we'll do it a million different ways. Sometimes they'll do it onto 20 security guards when he's trying to intimidate Samoa Joe.
Yeah. He's crowd surfing at a concert in 1996. Probably to Fastball or Harvey Danger.
Sublime.
They're still around. Can you believe that?
I thought the guy died like before their song hit.
They did. Before that record came out. Brad
Yeah.
Nowak.
I always see teenagers with Sublime. I'm like, you know, I was 12.
It's one of the biggest songs we play every weekend is fucking Santeria.
It's a huge hit.
Everybody loves Santeria and Barbie Girl.
Well, I mean, you don't practice Santeria.
Yeah, which is
very catchy.
It's witchcraft.
Very catchy. Yeah, it is.
After the match, Luchasaurus attacks Swerve from behind, and then Mother Wayne and Christian make their way into the ring. And they're tending to Nick Wayne. Christian's tending to Nick Wayne in the ring. Swerve gets rid of Luchasaurus. He gets the better of him. Christian runs out of the ring. Swerve gives chase. And while they're running around the ring, Luchasaurus, who has been dumped out, and they don't catch us too well on camera, but just as he's running by him, Swerve gives him a house call.
Yeah.
I had to rewind. I'm
Swerve
like, fuck yeah, dude.
All cylinders, man. He's doing Stone Cold shit. Remember when Stone Cold would come out and just stunner everybody?
Yeah.
Didn't matter what the numbers were or whatever.
That's a great
Swerve is doing that shit.
Comp.
Yeah.
It's a good comp. Also, that's the move to do it with, too.
Yeah.
You can have a career for your entire life.
I think the house call, I was going to mention this during the meat of the match. I forgot to. I think the house call is my favorite strike in wrestling.
Yeah.
Because it's just so consistently.
It's the most practical.
Yeah. It looks always like he's hitting you right in the head.
Yeah.
He's the best in wrestling at hiding the big slap noise. I have no idea how he does it, but it makes like the loudest noise ever. Yeah. And it always looks like he's hitting you right in the side of the goddamn head.
Right.
And if you hit somebody like that, you would win the fight. Like, it's just my favorite strike to watch.
It's
that and Takeshita's rolling elbow.
Yeah. That looks like you're going to end up in hospice.
Like, he definitely gives you CTE.
Yeah, I mean, with everyone doing a super kick now, it does stand out big time.
There's been a renaissance of headbutts, too, not just the ladies. Will Ospreay did one. It's very popular. I mean, trends happen. There's trendy stuff in wrestling.
Sure.
Like superplexes went away because people got bored of them. Now, every time somebody does a suplex, we're always like, oh, that's an awesome, scary-looking move.
Yeah.
And it used to be commonplace. I think this was happening with headbutts these days.
That. I'll take that. Once we start seeing Jey Uso doing house calls, Swerve's going to have to pivot a little bit.
Jey Uso couldn't do it. So.
He'll try.
You have to connect or else look. Yeah. It's not like a super kick where you could kind of not connect and look okay.
Yeah.
House call, you have to be very precise.
Right. Well, he is in the main event, so he'll figure it out. Or he says he's the main event.
He's very popular today.
Dude, well, I can't. We'll talk about him. If you have not listened to our WWE edition of Blue Thunder Pod, it's dropping at the same time. Have a listen. So they keep following. So Christian is running. Swerve is chasing him. Christian gets it's like a Forrest Gump lead. Yeah. Like all of a sudden he's like a mile ahead.
Did you realize this was a callback to his previous feud?
He
carjacked somebody to get away from Edge.
Yes.
This is the second time he's carjacked somebody.
Which is why he looked so pleased when he got in the car. He's like, I got away with it again. So Christian gets in a nice little SUV, and he's about to, and he's like, I did it again. I got away. And he's slowly putting the car into drive, and he's about to pull away, and another SUV blocks him, and the camera just runs to the car, and you see it's Prince Nana.
I popped. I was like,
Loved it. I was like, who the
all
fuck
right, Prince.
Did it occur to you that it was him when it was?
No. Because I thought it was up in the air whether he was going to stay with the Mogul Embassy or whatever. I'm glad he's just going to be a babyface manager, and he was there for his boy.
And this solidifies him as a babyface manager. So somebody else, they never turned him heel, so we have to spend several minutes bitching about
that dickhead thinks you need to stab a nun to turn heel or save a baby to turn face.
That's right.
What you really have to do is get the fans to like you.
Right.
That's all.
It's not rocket science. But, I mean, when you're
the dumbest motherfucker in wrestling with no talent.
Swerve pulls Christian out of the window
of the car. It was kind of brutal.
Yeah.
It was like some Nino Brown ass shit.
And he throws him into the side of one of the production trucks, and then he throws him into the side of the SUV. Christian briefly escapes, goes to the roof of the SUV, which is horror movie like. Goes to the most impractical place ever. And these two are standing and fighting at the top, and then Swerve DDTs Christian on top of the SUV. Christian's dazed. Swerve stumbles upon a folding chair in a parking lot. And he goes to give Christian a concerto
Like on the hood.
of the car, and Christian ain't having none of that either.
I love how Christian, like when he's scared and nervous running away, he gets like so sweaty in certain places. I don't know if he can make himself do that, but it like really adds to the this weasel's really scared right now. I think this match, man, is gonna, like, we all kind of think, I know we do, like, oh, Christian, good hand, Swerve. It's not really like it's a first title defense kind of thing. I bet this match fucking rules.
It has to. It's not going to be a paint by numbers.
No.
These guys are both great workers.
They're both brilliant.
They're going to do some shit we're not even thinking of.
Yeah.
And nothing like it's going to be like psychologically.
Yeah,
like,
it's not going to be like
shit.
a double twisting Meltzer driver thing. It'll be like something very creative.
Yeah.
Swerve always does insanely creative stuff, and Christian is the most creative guy in wrestling as far as setting up matches and understanding the ebbs and flows and when to do what to do what.
Yeah, this is going to be really good and so different than everything else.
Great opponent for Swerve.
Yeah,
and this is
about this
like this very recent build has got me wanting to purchase some Swerve gear.
Yeah. Malachi Black fought Kyle O'Reilly in a Lion's Den match. I'm sorry. Like
the first half of it was just a straight Muay Thai match.
Yeah.
I did the second half. I mean, that was fun, but I was like, all right, it's wrestling. So, but they did transition to something I really liked. Was halfway through the match, they started countering. Like, and Kyle O'Reilly is historically the best. Like, people consider him the best counter wrestler in wrestling. But Malachi was like almost as good, and they were countering all of their, because it's similar offenses. Yeah, it looked really cool. I thought.
I wrote it was a Muay Thai. I wrote not Muay Thai, martial arts match.
It was straight Muay Thai for the first half of it, but then they did more.
Yeah, 10 minutes 17 seconds.
It's cool to see Malachi wrestle in a singles match.
It's been a minute. And he looked like, I was trying to decide, like, does he look happy? Does he look motivated? Like,
does he ever look happy? A day in his life?
But like some guys where, like, I mean,
he's physically moving like he's motivated.
Right?
And he's got a program with fucking Edge.
I couldn't tell. And then, like,
and I'm sure Kyle, he probably wrestled Kyle O'Reilly in NXT.
Yeah. Also, too, I got to imagine guys with similar pedigrees like that are typically more excited to, because they could do shit with each other they can't do with anybody else.
He needs to stop being a pouty pants, because he came to the company, they gave him like many millions of dollars for a long-term contract, and then he was able to hire his two buddies to come create a stable with him.
Yeah.
So, like, I know he doesn't. Somebody had made the joke that it's a barbed wire steel cage match, because that's Malachi is that afraid of laying down for 3 seconds.
Ah.
But like, he seems like he might be a little bit of a moody fella. Like, hard to, not as bad as like Miro. Miro seems kind of like an asshole these days, but I think Malachi is just a little abrasive, maybe.
Yeah.
But he does seem motivated, and when he's motivated, he puts on bangers.
Yeah, I love him. I was really excited. I got to see him live in the main event of Dynamite fight Brock Anderson. Boo.
Did he at least kick Brock Anderson's head off?
Kicked his fucking head off. Brock Anderson's trunks never looked like they fit correctly.
Remember Lars Sullivan backing up too far, and the black mass missed by like 4 feet because that stupid racist maniac didn't know how to take it. It was the only bad black mass of all time.
Yes. He's a guy. He's doing okay, Lars Sullivan. He's just.
I'm sure he's got a newsletter that he sends out or something.
Yeah.
Interesting ideas.
Only people with blonde hair and blue eyes typically read it. What a scumbag human being.
It's the first 2 people on his mailing list is Braun Strowman and Tiffany Stratton.
Oh, Braun Strowman? He's no good.
Braun Strowman's not like that guy, but Braun, he's just not really bad. He's just like a MAGA.
He slipped up once or twice.
He nothing that would get him in super bad trouble, but he like alludes to the immigrants being a problem, like kind of thing.
There you go.
Yeah.
I love that he's feuding with the LW.
Yeah.
Seems like a rib in that case. After the match, Malachi Black is standing in the middle of the ring, and the lights turn red, start flickering.
Like Brood-esque, very Brood-esque.
Very Brood-esque. It was just missing the and then probably the best bloodbath I've ever seen in wrestling.
What the fuck was this? It was like a Hellraiser. My God, it had like coagulated meat bits in it or something. It looked like real animal blood. Amazing. There was about 3 tons of it.
Yeah.
It looked like coming out of a fire hose. It could have killed
shooting
Malachi
down,
or something.
like,
and then like when they showed it was coagulating and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, what the
was-
hell did they do? They bring in like Tom Savini to do this or something? It's amazing.
A+ fucking blood.
It was
It's
incredible.
the best one I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And then
It just looked like real blood.
yeah,
And a lot of it.
chunky.
Yeah.
Then we see Adam Copeland on the screen, and he says, "Malachi, up here. Be careful what you wish for. Ha! See you soon." I just wrote giggles.
Yeah.
Ha!
Oh.
And then Malachi goes, "Why am I dripping with this?"
It was
goo?"
cool. He did look a lot out of sorts. You don't usually see him shook.
No.
And then Malachi was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
He deserves it, though. I kind of alluded to this last week. I'm like, it's just like 19-2. And also, if you're trying to bring out the dark side in him, he like concertoed Christian twice.
Yeah.
He like beat the hell out of Nick Wayne's mom. He's willing to do whatever it takes.
The fucking 2x4 with the nails in it.
Yeah,
that
the nail.
won
Like
him the
he
title.
named he's done the Mick Foley spot that he did with Mick like 3 times already.
Yeah.
He's already willing to go there wherever there is. It's like, and he also is apparently willing to slaughter like 8 full-grown cows to have enough blood to drop on Malachi that almost killed him.
Sure.
Remember when Kevin Nash's blood fell? And it was about 5 feet to the right of him, and he just kind of looked and was like,
Kevin Nash is. When it was him and Sean, they were doing Two Dudes with Attitude. That was their tag team name, and there was a part in the match where like apparently Kevin Nash was supposed to be getting the ref's attention.
yeah.
And the ref's like, "You got it." And Kevin Nash literally is just standing there, and he puts his hand up. He's like, "I'm not doing nothing." But like the ref stayed in the pocket.
Yeah.
And even
You're
young
supposed to
me-
be doing something kind of thing. Like,
Kevin's like, "I'm not doing nothing." Right?
he
He was always great at that shit.
He also never really liked wrestling, but still only kind of likes wrestling, but I do enjoy listening to him. He's like the anti-Undertaker.
Yeah. He doesn't want anything to do with it anymore.
No. He always jokes that like, it took as few bumps as humanly possible.
Yeah.
And if you're not like really passionate about it, that's absolutely the smartest way to do it.
Right.
Like,
He's also, I believe, very financially sound.
Yeah.
Like, he was like really stock
yeah, he
market
was
savvy.
smart
like,
about it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, had some terrible personal life things happen.
Yeah.
That I think he's been kind of stuck in his house because he hasn't done anything public since that happened. But
No.
I can't imagine.
Nope. Nothing but positive vibes.
Should have been the Undertaker
Big
that died.
Sexy. He did several times.
Okay. Yeah, he would just come back.
Yeah, he just come back. And then we had an Anarchy in the Arena hype package next. Just building Anarchy in the Arena really nicely.
Another good one. Yeah.
What was even better than that was Tony Storm and Mariah May versus Saraya and Harley Cameron for 9 minutes, 11
Fuck
seconds.
me, dude. Match of the night. This ruled.
Yeah.
It got like an earnest "this is awesome" chant out of nowhere. Like halfway through, people are like, you know what? This is fucking awesome.
Yeah, they cooked.
So Harley Cameron, I vastly underestimated. This was her 7th match in her life.
What?
7th match. She's doing this
Wait,
shit.
where was she before?
In this, she
Was she somewhere before?
She
that?
wrestled 3 matches on like a affiliate independent show that works for the AEW, and then she's had 3 of those and 4 matches in AEW. That's her entire wrestling career.
Okay.
And she's like, her footwork is perfect. Her striking looks amazing. Her selling is like a 10-year veteran.
Yeah.
She's like a phenom. Maxine Dupree has had 2 more matches than Harley Cameron.
Well, she's trying.
She is.
She's in the
She is not a phenom.
No.
Harley Cameron, though, like that, what a surprise that is. But this match, like, you'd think she'd be the weak link. There was no weak link. It was just them all beating the shit out of each other 1,000 miles an hour and like move.
And because of that, I have virtually no notes for the match because I stopped to just watch
It was just all transitions and then big like thumping strikes.
I
It
want
was
to watch
great.
all 4 of them fight each other in
Yeah.
different combinations all the time.
Yeah, do like tornado match in a cage. I would watch that.
Have a mini like round robin tournament with
Yeah.
just the 4 of them.
What great chemistry they had.
Yeah. It was-
How does Harley Cameron have chemistry with anybody? 7 matches. Usually 7 matches in, people don't know how to run the ropes properly. Like,
Does she have like a gymnastics
I
pedigree?
have no idea what her background is
Yeah,
beyond.
I'm very curious now.
She looked like pinup model that they brought in to be a pinup model and like be the fake TMZ person. And then she gets in the ring 7 times and she's like fucking Serena Deeb. Like, how did this happen?
It does have the, like, I found like a genie's lamp. It's like, wish number 1 is like, make me a terrific professional wrestler.
I mean, there are some people that I guess you could go to for advice, but
Mark
but
Henry.
I've never seen. He might be gone. His contract is up.
That's okay.
Yeah, I don't even know what he's an ambassador or something.
Becky Lynch is coming over. So.
Please no. She would be I was thinking about it. She would be lower than the 30th best female wrestler on the AEW roster if you counted Ring of Honor.
I have nothing.
And she would be on TV twice a week.
I have nothing to say positively.
No, I don't want her at all.
Especially in the WWE episode of the Blue Thunder Pod, dropping at the same time. But the finish of the match saw Storm Zero to both of them. So they did their. So Tony Storm and Mariah May.
Stereo.
Storm Zero to Saraya, and then Mariah May does the. What's it? I always forget the name. It's the JML driver.
Yeah, JML. Quietly, still, Saraya continuing to like. Get it all back. Yeah. She's wrestling like she used to be able to wrestle again. Yeah. Like the promos, she's been killing it for months now. But like every time she gets in the ring, I'm sure they're careful with her. They don't want to give her a zillion matches, but she's improving every time. And this looked like gold page.
Also, too, look at what she's like producing while not wrestling.
Yeah.
Like she's fucking making another wrestler, like Harley Cameron. Like,
Harley Cameron is her like protege.
Yeah.
And I just called her a phenom who's like better than most veterans after 7 matches.
And like if you gotta talk only, cool.
She's a great talker.
And then when you're ready to go again, this is what we get.
Yeah. She's awesome.
I've always been a fucking
me too. She's awesome. She was like one of her and AJ Lee was the first women's like feud where I was like, I care about this as a wrestling match, not just because they're hot or whatever. Like,
also because they cared about it.
Exactly. Yeah, because they know wrestling. Yeah. Like, she grew up. Did you see the movie, The Family?
No.
It's pretty good.
I'm very behind. I haven't seen Iron Claw. I haven't seen nothing.
Iron Claw's so sad. Yeah. See Wrestling with My Family first because it's lighter hearted and a very early Florence Pugh plays Paige, and it's pretty good. But like they were teaching, her family was teaching her wrestling on like the Irish countryside when she was like 9. I think she wrestled her first sanctioned match at 12. So like, yeah.
I also heard that she's like purposely there just to give her brother an opportunity at a career.
That guy's not as good as her.
He's not good. No good.
He's Karrion Kross without the charisma.
Okay, well that's all Karrion Kross has. I have blocked out my Sky because I do want to watch Collision at least because Collision always seems to have good shit on it.
There's stuff. It'll piss me off sometimes because I don't want 2 hours in addition to all the other wrestling that we watch and take notes on. I always feel bad when I sound like we're bitching about watching wrestling. I love watching wrestling, but like we have to go back a bunch of times and like make sure we caught stuff, and so that it is like a little bit laborious, just as a time frame thing. Right. And if you add a whole nother 2-hour show, I would rather just kind of check out what Reddit is saying about the big stuff that happened and then go see that. Because they don't usually do any big giant reveal. No. They'll do a cool story thing like Pac getting beat up by the Bang Bang Gang, or Swerve kicking the shit out of the entire Mogul Embassy. Yeah. But they won't like do a heel turn or like a surprise return or anything. So like I think we're probably better off still grabbing that in snippets.
Yeah. I mean, I just keep reading about what happens, and like when they do wink at it, like I like being part of the wink, you know? And plus, to your point, it's watching. I say like it adds about 30% of the view time, like when I have to sit and type all these not have to, like you say, like I fucking love doing it. But it's just a lot.
And I need you to because you're great.
Yeah, I don't want to miss like a lot of talking on WWE. Thankfully, not as many promos this week on AEW. It was all wrestling.
They went right back to the way it normally is.
Yeah. After the match, we had Saraya attack. Oh, I'm sorry. Serena Deeb attacks all 3 of them after the match. Boos from the crowd. She hits Luther with a chair, and then she hits Tony Storm with the heel of a shoe.
Yeah, great heel heat here. She has so much charisma when she's not talking. Like she feels like a star every time she doesn't talk into a microphone.
I'm not very X-Men savvy. It was X-Men First Class. It's somebody that like turns into diamonds.
Yes. It was played by the very beautiful lady from Mad Men, whose name is like a month or something.
January Jones?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
She reminded me of her.
Yeah.
Like, just looks very, like, powerful and
stoic,
important
but
and
like
special.
dangerous. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, and they're mocking her before this, like they're holding up Serena Deeb's like flag, right? And then she does a very cool thing, which adds like right up until the pay-per-view, they're adding more. She gets a folding chair, and Toni storms down because she's hit her with a shoe, so she's on her stomach.
Yeah.
And Serena Deeb puts a folding chair, opens it, sits on it, but it's on top of Toni Storm, and then she does a half crab.
Awesome half crab.
Toni
I love her
Storm
half crab so much.
Legit fucking helpless. Like, you can't go anywhere here.
I don't think I've ever seen anybody do this specific
Amazing
thing.
spot.
It was awesome.
Amazing
It was
spot.
awesome. And it is like you're not going anywhere.
No.
He's like my dragon off. You're not going anywhere now, buddy. I got you now.
And I mean, this is if you're one of those people that needs a clear division of like who's the good guy or the bad guy going into the show, like they just delineated this really fucking hard.
Steve is good at everything except talking. So like, she can get it across with character. Let her do her. This match is gonna fucking kick ass.
It's gonna be so good. It's gonna be so good.
Tired of saying that, but these are all gonna kick ass.
Well, AEW never has match problems.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
It's all the, as you say, in between
stuff, and
they're getting fucking.
It's hard to do week to week live TV that goes on all year long.
Dude,
I think wrestling needs like an off season, like 2 or 3 months off season.
Do you remember when baseball went on strike in '94 and they ran?
Oh, I do, because the White Sox were in first goddamn place.
Do you remember the promos that WWF ran with the Macho Man?
Oh no, I should.
Oh, dude, there was a kid like on a diamond, like wanting to play, and like there was no one to play with. And Macho Man goes up, he's like, "Hey kid, throw me the ball," and then they're just fucking hitting home runs, and they're like,
the kid was going to be playing with like Frank Thomas.
I guess you could have extrapolated that, yeah. But and then WWF's like, "Here at the WWF, there is no off season," or they're just capitalizing.
Yeah,
on
which is why all our people die very young.
Yeah, we don't have an off season. We have a rotating cast of characters, and we discard the old ones.
Yeah, we have an off season or any kind of like medical plan or
dental plan.
At least in these braces.
Next, we had Bryan Danielson versus Satnam Singh. It went 5 minutes and 1 second. I get what they were trying to do.
I thought it was fun.
It was so different.
It was cool seeing Danielson like scurry up that big mountain of a man, and he can kind of move for at 7'3" or whatever he is.
Storyline wise, it made so much sense. You have guys in charge that are wrestling him in a couple days. You want him injured. You hire a big heavy to injure him. It's a group we don't usually see, so like they're out of the way.
I'm glad that I got to see Double J. I wasn't sure he was going to come out because he was not on the graphic. I was very happy to see him.
It is inexplicable how much I love him now.
Yeah, me too.
Relative,
I hated him so much.
That song,
yeah,
like they mashed up his and Jay Lethal's theme songs. Like I want it to be my ringtone.
I like everything about him now. I hated him for so long. I hated him across WWF,
right. Like
when he was feuding with China and tagging with Owen. I hated him even worse when he went to WCW and was slap nuts. And I'm the the powers that be or have my back. I hated him so much. I've loved him since his AEW thing started.
He was on par with like Triple H at the time. This unbeatable heel.
That's why him and Stone Cold had like a kind of famous falling out because he thought he was on Stone Cold's level.
Didn't he not want to lose to Stone Cold or some shit like that? Yeah,
it's insane. Like 1998 Stone Cold.
I mean, better late than never, man. Like I adore him now.
People grow. Thank the best of us. The best of us grow, and he has.
His podcast, he's super humble.
He's real humble. He's really smart. Thinking? He doesn't make people. He doesn't talk down to people that were not necessarily in the business. Some people. He realizes that by watching and reading and stuff about this stuff your whole life, that you can. Have some knowledge about it. He's a really smart guy. Yeah. He's just a very smart man.
Yeah, I love listening to him.
Yeah, him and Lance Storm.
God damn it, bring him back. Is he training somewhere?
Lance
training people, like making new wrestlers.
He's bald and he's got Coke bottle glasses at this point, so I don't know if he has the look to do it. But.
No, I don't need him in the ring. Just make more, like how Shawn Michaels made. Like, make another Lance Storm.
I need somebody to do that roll through half crab.
How has no one picked that up? That's a tough thing to do, though.
It's super tough to do, and he did it perfectly every time.
Do it in the shower the other day, almost died. But after the match, the match ended with Danielson has it's not the yes lock. What do they call it?
That's the real name. It's the LaBelle lock.
LaBelle,
Gene LaBelle. He learned it from the guy that Gene LaBelle trained.
I don't know why I couldn't think of that. Yes, the LaBelle lock has the LaBelle lock on Satnam Singh, and then Jay Lethal, Jeff Jarrett, and Sanjay Dutt all run in the ring, put a beat down on Danielson, so he gets the DQ victory. They don't care about taking the loss here because they were paid to injure Bryan Danielson.
Bucks outright said, if you win, that's fine. Yeah. Hurt him.
Jarrett goes to hit Danielson with a guitar. He evades it, and Danielson hits the Busaiku knee to Lethal and Jarrett. And he goes to hit Sanjay with a guitar. And then Satnam Singh punches the guitar, and it just explodes.
He's a strong man.
Yeah. And then Hulu decided this is where the show ends for me. I had to go to YouTube
to see the best thing on the show.
Yeah. Oh, no, not quite. I did see the Young Bucks were coming out.
Yeah, the Young Bucks came out to add insult to injury and then all team up and kick the shit out of poor Bryan Danielson.
What was the sequence of this? Do you remember? Because I watched it on my way here. So the Bucks came out. They obviously put the
everybody was in the ring. Okada, Bucks, everybody laying the screws to Danielson.
Okay.
And then the Titan, well, not Titantron, but the Tron, whatever you call it.
We're calling it the Titantron forever.
Wrestling. I usually call it the Tron. Yeah. Truck comes pulling up outside of the building, and Darby Allin hops out with his awesome pink-ass Tyler Durden coat and what I thought was a 50 caliber rifle. I didn't notice this at first, but driving the truck was one Tony Khan.
Who gave him a fist bump.
Yeah. Darby came then running into the arena, at which point we realized it is not a 50 caliber rifle. It is, in fact, a giant flamethrower. So he fires a flame of about 35, 40 feet in the air for the remainder of the show. It doesn't stop. He just keeps firing that goddamn thing off to scatter the troops.
Yeah.
Because, the numbers game isn't going to work. You only got two. Well, one of the two has a fucking flamethrower. Right. So, that made sense, too.
Tips the scales a little.
It was awesome.
The visual was... It was super it felt like when I was watching it on the YouTube.
Oh, I didn't mention Jack Perry was also in the ring. The entire elite was.
He was in the crowd. I saw that he attacked from the crowd. FTR came out, I believe.
Yeah. But it's still big time numbers problem for the baby faces, which is why you bring a huge
because Jarrett's
flamethrower
clan was right. They were still very a part of it too.
Mm-hmm. And one thing is 7-4 or whatever.
It helps. So as far as I know, the faces got the best of everybody, or no?
They just scared him. They stopped him from Danielson getting murdered, and they ran away.
Oh, that would explain why they're all having to stand up.
He just stood there firing. He did not stop shooting his flamethrower. He got his money's worth with his flamethrower. I think this means that there's going to be fire and anarchy in the arena match. That's usually the kind of foreshadowing they do. Flaming table.
Fucking wait to see what they do.
I think it'll be a flaming table.
They're at the MGM Grand.
Yeah.
I believe the MGM Grand is attached to the hotel.
I don't think so. I think the place. Not? I believe I saw a fight, boxing match there. I think it was a separate entity. They still call it the MGM Grand, but it's a separate thing.
There is a theater that you can access. Through the hotel.
It's like an amphitheater, though. I think the main event thing is a couple blocks away.
Okay, so they're not going. My big want with this was
Darby accidentally burned down the MGM Grand.
No, the MGM Grand is dope. I love that hotel. But I wanted them on craps tables, taking DDTs and shit.
Yeah.
But I don't think the gambling commission would quite allow.
They can. I mean, you can do gimmicked ones, make it look like a.
Yeah.
They're gonna do something. I mean, goddamn, first one ever. Yeah. Moxley DDT Kenny Omega on a big giant poker chip.
What a terrific go-home show.
It was great. It was just
what is going to be I feel like we say this all the time. This is going to be an all-timer.
Yeah.
We say it all the time.
The only difference is I don't think there's any single match on this card that could possibly challenge the one match that we saw the last card. Yeah. But I think this card overall, top to bottom, could be better than that incredible card was.
Build wise, everything feels strong.
Just-
Even the things that were just added today.
I think they timed out this build better than they ever have in their entire history.
Yeah.
Because usually the go home show kind of sucks.
The only thing that feels a little weak is the FTW match. That's it.
Yeah. And I just have a weird feeling something's happening there.
I hope so.
Yeah. I mean, well, whatever. I'll watch. I'm always happy to watch Shibata. You always you need a little bit of a cool down match.
There's no or did they do? So there's no like casino bullshit. But like, did they do?
They did that already. That was They
the
started doing the casino battle royal.
Yeah.
Not at Double or Nothing. It was a couple weeks before, and then they made the wise decision to upgrade it to that thing that Will Ospreay won.
Yeah.
Because that's cooler than a battle royal.
It's very cool.
And I think that's what takes that place.
Okay. So no poker chip or anything fucking hanging from a ladder match. Oh, no ladder matches on this show. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Wait, nope, no ladder matches.
Just a barbed wire cage.
Just a barbed wire cage. So what does that mean? Like,
well, an Anarchy in the Arena could very well be a ladder match.
Yeah, I guess
could be an everything match.
Yeah.
Could be an airplane match.
No.
It was a horse match one time. When,
they fly to Tempe. Match finishes 7 hours from now. So, like, what is a barbed wire cage? Like, is it just where it's going to be wrapped on top?
I assume it's going to be through
just on top?
You don't do the over-the-top thing. It's AEW cage matches are
proper.
like what they were supposed to be.
Yeah.
Pinballs and stuff.
Are they going to... No, because fans got to see through them. What would look amazing is like what an actual maximum security prison looks like, where the entire length of the fence is...
Yeah. I wonder if they do something like that.
You got to see it, though.
Well, it would have to be less.
Yeah.
But like some barbed wire with those barbs, like smashing people into the cage, you're going to get all cut up.
You're right. You're right. I don't know.
Remember when Mick Foley and Triple H had hardcore matches, and they both had a board with a barbed wire wrapped around it? And the one that Triple H used on Mick was real barbed wire, and the one that Mick used on pussy ass Triple H was rubber because he's a pussy.
Well, yeah. I don't know. We don't even have to say anything more than that. The story checks out. Meanwhile, Randy Orton is taking back bumps on legit fucking tack.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's the weaker guy in your stable. Huh? Okay. But no, I don't know what's gonna happen, and I love we're at a point in wrestling where I can't call this like.
I also don't really wanna. I mean, we'll do our picks, but I don't have that feeling that you feel when wrestling sucks. That you just want to be right because that's a win.
Correct.
We get wins by watching these shows now because they're good. They're fun.
It's fun when you're surprised.
Yeah,
like,
always.
Went away
yes.
for so long.
Yeah.
That, like we just got. Oh, I guess I watch wrestling now to see how smart I am.
Because for so many years, it was bad almost all the time. We would get like one good thing every 4 months or something. Now it's like there's a clunker Dynamite once out of every 5. There's a clunker Raw, once out of every 5. Yeah. All the rest of them are like very entertaining. Yeah. It's the best time ever to be a wrestling fan, and it also makes us less bitter and less apt to like want to argue and show everybody that I'm right because it's the only joy I get out of wrestling because it sucks. Because wrestling does not suck right now.
I find joy in listening to other people bitch about why it's terrible right now, and they're more focused on how many people are watching the show.
Yeah, I've yet to hear like an artistic argument for why, like any show, why they should change.
It's like, always ratings related.
Yeah, because they're like so tied to the late 90s when the dirt sheets and xwrestling.com and all that stuff first started hitting. That's all anybody talked about because it was the Monday Night Wars, and they haven't changed at all. Even though the whole world has changed and media is completely different than it was. And like Tony Khan's a billionaire too, so it doesn't fucking matter.
No. That's why I stopped caring about ratings at all. When I had the epiphany, we're like, this is a billionaire's toy box.
And I stopped arguing with people online because the thing that people would always come at me with was if he needs to do the broader stuff like WWE to get bigger ratings. And my point was, I think the company's going to stick around. I'm almost 100% certain of it. Their family has an incredible relationship with Warner too. It's going to be on Max, whatever. I don't want them to change too much because I love the product. I don't care that most people don't love it. Yeah. And then the people who would still argue back with me, but the ratings, and I'm like, you're arguing a different thing. Yeah. So I'm going to stop doing this. So I stopped making those arguments.
Like, I love watching a guy on YouTube who's like a competitive eater. He gets very few views, but like, I don't want him changing his product.
Exactly.
You know, I don't give a shit who else is watching him.
I like David Lynch movies. Like 12 people see David Lynch movies, and I don't want to make Steven Spielberg movies. I want to make David Lynch movies. Like,
it's just they're dumb arguments.
They are dumb people.
Focus on the story. Like, focus on the story.
Yeah, which can be criticized. We do both criticize both shows when like things maybe can go this, but like an artistic criticism, not like they could have done a better house if they would have. Like, I can give a shut up. Who? Why would anybody?
Actually, the house I do care about because it does.
Again, that's the artistic part of it, though.
Yes.
Like book the right size and everything, because that's part of the presentation.
Right. Makes it work. It makes.
But like, I don't care about the business end of it.
Not even
like,
a little bit. I don't care what your.
I don't own stake in either company. Why the fuck would I care?
Right.
Like.
Yeah. Also, to your point, it is the best and I believe most lucrative time to be a wrestling fan.
Absolutely.
Too, so.
Like, well, hopefully for us. I did notice a kind of bright window. It might have been a good time to start something like a podcast.
Yeah. Yeah. Coincided directly with some giant piece of shit exiting the business. I can't say his name. I'm fucking
did
broke.
I reference him?
I don't think you did.
I made reference to the show sucking for a bunch of years, but I didn't say why.
No, you didn't say
It's the first show I have not said.
No. Well, we
still got to get through a whole WWE podcast.
We can't afford it.
Yeah.
It's $3,500 every time we mention his name.
And what we're doing is we're going to take that money and build a bronze life-size statue of Vince to have in
Vince Lombardi.
Yes, Vince Lombardi.
Yes. You can't say it.
Like the one. Well, I wasn't. It was a statue I was referencing, not a person.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, because his ego needs. Now we talked about it.
No. So excited for the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Good job, AEW.
I was just very pleasantly surprised as well, because their go-home shows usually are like a bunch of like the Kingdom and Private Party have a match for no reason, because they just need to fill a show because they did all their stuff already the week prior. And this was just like, nonstop stuff that's fun and great. And I got to see real blood dropped on Malachi. I'm pretty sure there should be a police investigation about that, because that was, oh my God.
It was brutal.
If you guys have not already, go check out the WWE iteration of the Blue Thunder Pod, which will be dropping at the same time as this, Friday morning, about 5 a.m. Thanks for listening, guys. We are also going to... Oh, you know what we didn't do?
What's that?
Picks.
I thought we're doing them after.
We do want... Yeah, I guess we... Yeah, because we're going to video. We'll do it totally separate.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're going to put up also a little mini podcast, probably about 10 minutes, where Dave defends his... Blue Thunder Pod World Picks title.
Yeah, good for you, championship.
Against me, because it's a big 4 pay-per-view, and we're going to make our picks. And hopefully I kick Dave's ass. So check that out too. Thanks for joining us, guys. Hope you'll be back again next week. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.